use of our federal grants for FY 2025 that include IDA-B special education, IDEA preschool special education, Title I-A improving basic programs, Title II supporting effective infrastructure, Title IV student support and academic enrichment, ESSER, ARP number 3, and ARP homeless targeted support.
There is one correction that the ARP homeless targeted support will not be next year, and instead we do have Stronger Connections grant.
Okay.
So we need the word use, you need to add the word stronger connections to this list?
Yes,
Okay.
but take off the homeless targeted.
Going to call to order the regular meeting of the Liberty Union-Thurston Board of Education. It's Monday, June 10th. Roll call, please, Ms. Boyer.
Ms. Cato?
Here.
Mr. Hookrattle?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Shook? Dr. Walter?
Here.
Would you rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recognition, we have with us tonight Erin Hinchcliffe, Central Region Manager of the Ohio School Board Association, to do a presentation.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to come to your board meeting. I see you have a lot of items on your agenda, so I won't take up too much of your time. Just to introduce myself, my name is Erin Hinchcliffe. I joined last month with the Ohio School Board Association as the Central Region Manager. As you may know, there's 5 regions in the state of Ohio. The Central Region comprises about 100 school districts, Liberty Union falling under that umbrella. So I'm super excited to join. A little bit about me, I served on an ESC school board for 2 years, and professionally I work in sales and marketing. But I'm super excited to join OSBA. As you know, OSBA is the leading voice for public education in the state of Ohio. And as your school district is a member, you have access to all the great resources that we have to provide. I'll be leaving some information as well. But one of the best parts of my job is being able to come out and recognize school board members that give service continuously to their districts. And today I'm here to recognize Mr. Hookrattle, who has given 15 years to the Liberty Union School District. That's what, 3 or 4 elections and lots of time that you've given. So on behalf of Dr. Kathy McFarland, the CEO of OSBA, and our Board of Trustees, I'd like to recognize you with this certificate. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we inspire you to continue doing the great work that you do.
Okay.
And OSBA is here for you. If you have any questions, I'll be leaving my information, and I look forward to working with all of you moving forward.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Just leave these.
Congratulations. Thank you.
And then I'll leave my contact information as well.
Okay.
Sean, we really appreciate all your hard work and all your years of dedication and service to our school district.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah, 15 years goes by pretty fast. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gone by really fast, yeah.
We have public participation at our board meeting.
Thank you.
Do we have any participation this evening? None. We move on to our refreshment. So we'll break for about 5-10 minutes, have refreshments, and be back.
Okay.
Okay, we are back from our refreshments, and we have the approval of the minutes from the May 13th, 2024 meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Moore, second by Mr. Hookrattle, to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Liberty Union-Thurston Board of Education held on May 13th as printed. Ms. Boyer?
Ms. Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle.
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Dr. Roll.
Yes.
Monthly financials, Ms. Boyer?
Okay, you have our monthly financial report. Go to page 5. That shows from July through May where we are compared to where we were, compared to like a 5-year forecast and that type of thing. If you look at the top, local taxes and reimbursement, it shows we're short right now, what we had planned. And that's because we're still owed a little over $345,000 in homestead and rollback. We usually get that in April, and we still don't have the money yet. Hope to get it this year, so it doesn't make everything thrown off for the next few years. They still have a little time. Page 6, all expenses are up compared to last year, which we expected. And then page 8 is our interest. Our interest is up $15,788.14 over last month. And about $8,400 was Raymond James because all the CDs have been cashed in now. And a little over $6,600 is from our sweep account. We changed the sweep account, which has given us a higher interest rate. And then page 9 just shows where we are at 92% of the year. And again, if you look at the property tax allocation, we're at 50%, and that's the homestead rollback. Then you have our bank reconciliation. And we have our bills that we paid. And on page 5, towards the top, check 102965, May 10th, Bank of New York Mellon, $27,300. That is the interest payment on our bond, and that came from our bond retirement fund. And page 9, up towards the top, 103062 was to Village of Baltimore. We voided that check, and it's reissued on page 11. Same amount, which that's where we go next is page 11.
Hey, April, let me interrupt you. There seemed like there was a lot of voids on that page for whatever reasons.
I would have to check with Lexi to see what happened on why she had some voids.
Yeah, there was like 4 or 5 of them. on
I'm thinking that I'll have to check with her.
there. Okay, I haven't seen that before, so I just thought I'd ask.
How'd you only get $1 off on projected versus actual on income tax?
She's good.
I'm good.
Alrighty.
Yes. Page 11. 103116, May 29th to the Village of Baltimore for $55,500. That was grinder pump, tap fee, and of course the main under the high school baseball field, and that was all from the general fund. Then down further, 103124 to Scott Scriven for $18,161.26. and that was legal fees, and that all was the general fund. Page 12 towards the top. 103,136, Northland Refrigeration Sales and Service for $19,352. That was for the outside walk-in freezer, and all that came from the food service fund. And that's what we have on the bills page. And then you have for student activity, changes to the 018, 200s, and 300s. And then the donations, $100 from Schaffner's Drive-In to FFA, $50 from Lancaster Fairfield Community Action to the elementary school principal, $35.88 from Kroger to high school yearbook, $53.38 from Pepsi to elementary school principal, $200 from Ohio FFA Association to the FFA. And that's all I have.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second?
I have a motion by Dr. Walter, second by Mr. Moore to approve the monthly financial statements as printed above. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes. New business financial, we have the permanent appropriations for fiscal year 2025. And we have the permanent appropriations for fiscal year 2024. Ms. Boyer or Dr. Johnson, do we need to add anything? Those will be on administrative file with the district office.
Right, the permanent appropriations, of course, are to start out the year, the 2025. The adjustments for 2024, the general fund, I mainly was putting that there just to make sure that I didn't have to bring you in for an extra meeting. We hadn't got our special education bills from the ESC yet, and they can be high. I just got them today, and we were okay. Shouldn't need that 80,000 I put there, but it was a play it safe because I didn't have the shit. The 006 for the cafeteria, they've received more money, and then also we have more expenses then too. So that's why that one's there.
Is there a reason? I'm sure there is a reason. Can you tell me the reason for like food services in 2025 has no appropriation, but obviously has the 600 some thousand appropriated in 2024?
Oh, goodness. Because we missed it. Well, I was really good with that dollar.
Right, we'll give you credit on the dollar. Yeah, okay, so.
Yeah, we'll be appropriating that next time.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. That was my question. I didn't want Jan to have to run at a zero. That was gonna be tough.
Yes, it would.
All right, thank you.
We actually discussed that one. In terms of helping her budget. General fund.
Her budget's actually doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't actually know what happened to that number.
Okay, we can get that corrected.
Yes, we will.
Okay. So moving on, we have C service providers. We have CRI Digital Fit and Bows, contract period July 1, 2024 through June 30th, 2027, which is a 3-year lease. It's for the Fit Evos, Synpro, C-Lite, and 5-pound scale, $97.89 per month to be billed quarterly. We have the Fairfield County ESC, July 1st of 2024 through June 30th, 2025. Contract positions through the ESC. We have the school psychologist at $106,773.41, Speech therapist, $64,049.43. In-school suspension monitor at middle school of $35,245.76. The high school monitor, $72,126.88. Gifted coordinator, $104,418.14. We have MOUs for the following services: frontline absence management, the ASOP, attendance officer services, Fast Forward Success Center, teachers, aides, and related personnel for special education for multiple disabled behavioral and preschool needs, adapted PE, and physical therapy. We have service provider Horizon, July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2027. That also is a 3-year lease. Voice service, business line, equipment is $500, and the monthly fee is $756. Item D, school bus purchase for FY 2025. It is recommended to purchase a school bus during fiscal year 2025. Competitive bids for a school bus to be obtained through Meta on our behalf for a new 78-passenger school bus, Cummins diesel-powered international school bus. E, end of fiscal year balance procedures, resolution to approve the authorization for treasurer to reserve the right to add, change, appropriation, amendment, advances, transfers for the fiscal year end to be in compliance. Any required changes will be taken to the July 2024 board to be approved retroactively. Treasurer recommends or requests the transfer and advance accounts as necessary to close the fiscal books for the 2024 fiscal year. Item F, change fund authorization. The treasurer requests to establish change funds for the 2024-2025 school year. We have the high school athletic director, amount of $3,000, food service director, $300, middle school office, $25, high school office, $25, and treasurer, $50. G, participation in the National School Lunch Program. The National School Lunch Program is a federally assisted meal program operating in public and nonprofit private schools and residential child care institution. It provides nutritionally balanced, low-cost or no-cost lunches to children each school day. The program was established under the Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act, signed into law by President Harry Truman in 1946. So this goes way back. So about 7.1 million children participated in the National School Lunch Program in its first year. That's amazing. And then it looks like maybe the last statistics that they have, there was 30.4 million children who took advantage of that. H, full food service vendors for 2024-25. Through membership in Meta Solutions, the district has bid for bread, dairy, and kitchen food products for our school cafeteria. The food service provider recommends the following providers. Bread products through Klosterman's Baking Company, dairy products through United Dairy, and kitchen supplier Gordon Food Services. I, school meal pricing for the 2024-25 school year. We have high school, middle school lunch at $3.25, elementary at $3, student breakfast $1.50, reduced student lunch, breakfast is free, and this is 40 cents. Adult lunch and adult breakfast are still to be determined, and we have milk at 50 cents. Do I have a motion to approve?
So, second.
A motion by,
I have one
we'll
question. I'm
go
sorry.
back up.
Yep, even though I'm the one that made the motion, right?
Yes, okay.
So on the ESC, we've got in-school suspension flash monitor at $35,000, and then we have a high school monitor at $72,000. Is there something? Are these two different things, and they just happen to both have the word monitor in them, or what's the drastic difference in cost between the two if they're doing similar work?
Are they both ESC? I can't.
They are, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Can we?
I can-
I'll find out. Yeah, we can.
I can get it for you.
Okay. It'd just be, I'd be curious as to.
Carol,
Yes.
FYI, this, information for the 40-cent lunch price for the reduced price students this past year and the next year, the state of Ohio, and their budget is picking up that 40 cents for those kids.
Oh, great.
So our 40-cent meal last year and next year, that we're hoping moving forward is a state budget item.
Great. Thank you for adding that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Yeah, second.
And we have a motion by Mr. Hookrattle, second by Dr. Water, to approve items in the new business financial section. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Dr. Walter,
Yes.
Ms. Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle.
Yes.
New business personnel. We have the negotiated agreements with the LUTEA and OPSI, July 1, 2024 to June 30th, 2027. 3-year agreements have been reached with the Liberty Union-Thurston Education Association and with the OPSI, AFSCME Local 4, AFL-CIO Local Number 494, effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2027. Superintendent requests approval of the contract as outlined in each agreement, and those are on file in the district office if anybody needs to see those. Employment, we have Caroline Owens, 2nd grade elementary school, 1-year limited BA, step 3, effective date August 9th of 24. We have Brandon Hughes, permanent daily sub at the middle school, 1-year finite BA, step 0 per MOU with LUTEA. That was approved by the board May 13th of this year. Effective date is August 12th of this year through May 29th of 25. We have Molly McGuire Simpson, a permanent daily sub at the elementary school, 1-year finite BA, step 0 per MOU with LUTEA. That was board approved on May 13th of this year. Effective date August 12th of 24 through May 29th of 2025. We have resignations. We have Lori Foltria, the curriculum director at the district, resignation effective July 31st of 2024. We have the classified contracts. So we have the continuing contracts, we have the classified 2-year contracts, and we have the classified 1-year contracts. We also have certified contract revision for Elena Miller at the middle school, 4th of a 1-year BA 150, 1st of a 2-year BA 150 is the revised contract. Unpaid leave of absence, the superintendent is recommending approval of an unpaid leave of absence under the LUTEA Article 20 for Megan Grubb, science teacher at the high school. Effective date is August 12th of 2024 through May 30th of 25. Extended days, we are removing Jamie Walter as a separate vote. So we have in this vote will be Tom Duplinsky, the high school guidance counselor, extended days of 30. Lisa Faust, middle school guidance of 15 days. Wendy Westkirk, librarian at the elementary of 5 days. And Alexandra Harrison, librarian at the high school. Supplementals, we have numerous names there. Summer school, for the middle school, we have Eric Smoleski, middle school, summer school. His qualifications as a licensed teacher, date is June 5th through the 14th of 2024, 8 a.m. to 11 daily. Compensation is $25 per hour for up to 24 hours. And the duties are to monitor and assist students who are assigned summer school. Students will complete assignments in the summer bridge workbook. Do I have a motion to approve? A motion by Mr. Moore, second by Mr. Hookrattle to approve items in the new business personnel section. Ms. Boyer?
Dr. Walter,
Yes.
Ms. Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle,
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
So we'll pull this out as what do we want to call that? JA. We have item, go back to Jamie.
It's
Like
page 11.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, right there, because I pulled it out. Okay, so we have separate vote for Jamie Walter, voice teacher at the high school, extended 40 days. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Cato, second by Mr. Hookrattle to approve item JA under extended days. Ms. Boyer?
Dr. Walter,
Abstain.
Ms. Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Okay. New business requiring a separate vote. We have 2024, 2025 athletic supplementals. And we have a numerous list there. Do I need to read through any of those?
No, but I guess I saw this, so Scott is stepping down from his position as varsity coach. And Adcock is taking over.
Yes.
Did we post that? Did we do anything with that, or did we just, our athletic
They're
director just?
posted every year, so that's how they responded in terms of responding to the posting.
So did we post that outside of?
No.
Any other comments? A motion to approve? Take a name out.
Just, I'm just not pleased with that. There again, we're not happy. This plug and play stuff, I mean, what are we doing? I mean, I'm not looking at you, I'm not mad at you, but I'm
really not prepared to answer the question. I mean, if it were coming, if it came before the board meeting, I could do some research. But they are posted though. They weren't posted externally.
my question would be, why not? I mean, we owe our student athletes, we owe them more than this. The same stuff happens every time.
Okay. So as a solution, you can pull those two off if that's what the consensus of the board is, and we'll move on with the other ones.
Because that whole section needs to be approved for this month, or we would need a special.
Right. I'm good with that. I just want answers. I just want to know why we continue to do this. This is unacceptable. This is a varsity position. This isn't a 7th or 8th grade. This is a varsity position, coach.
It's a recommendation that was made. If you want to pull it off the agenda,
It's a recommendation because it's the easiest thing to do.
you can, if you want to pull, I would recommend pulling it off the agenda if you want more time. to
Well, that's
discuss.
that's up to the rest of the board. That's not my decision. I just want to voice my frustration on this. So if the rest of the board is good with it, then we'll go with it.
Because you can't comment, can you?
Comment. Yeah.
No comment.
I mean, if we want to pull,
Pull
pull
two
it through and
names.
then, give that further discussion, I mean, if that gives you a chance to ask some questions and get some answers maybe.
I mean, I guess, John, I would just like to hear from our athletic director why. If, and I don't know when Scott decided he wasn't gonna coach, but this flip-flopping and this just, well, it's because it's easier. Why won't she post this out and try to get a good quality candidate? Mr. Adcock, I don't know the gentleman. He could be an awesome coach. But we need to give our student athletes the best opportunity to be successful that we can. Just not this, well, okay, it's easy. That's my opinion.
Does someone want to make a motion to remove the two names? The rest as is.
I mean, I'll make the motion. I have no problem with making the motion, but if my other, if you three say, hey, let's roll with it, then we'll roll with it.
I don't know if you need to make two motions and approve all except two. They're all approved except two.
That's, I mean, if that, and then if we, you know, get some input.
We
Absolutely.
can always add them back on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I would like to make the motion, Madam President, that we remove those two names until we get a little bit more in-depth information.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Moore, second by Dr. Walter, to approve items above except for removing the two names of Scott Burke and Chad Adcock. Ms. Boyer?
Dr. Walter,
Yes.
Ms. Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle,
Abstain.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Item B, athletic donations. We have 1,500 from Robert and Sherry Looney for the softball charter bus. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second that. So I have a motion by Dr. Walter, second by Ms. Cato, to approve the items above. Ms. Boyer?
Ms. Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Dr. Walter.
Yes.
Abstain.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I knew you were.
I had a-
I don't want to say my one word. Abstain.
Item C, we have FFA National Convention revised edition of information. So under the, what we had approved under transportation, bus and one driver, $4,120 and a $412 deposit. And the lodging is by Fairfield by Marriott at $180 per room. Do I have a motion for the revision?
Mike, I'm okay to vote on this one, even because, okay.
So moved.
Second.
I have motion by Mr. Moore, seconded by Mr. Hookrattle to approve the items for the FFA convention revision. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Hookrattle,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Dr. Walter,
Yes.
Ms. Cato.
Yes. I have new business other. We have the disposals, the curriculum. That would be on the board, admin. We have B, we have IGBEA-R, reading skills assessment and intervention, third grade reading guarantee. And this is the second reading. We have item C, GCN-2-R, evaluation of professional staff, administrators and supervisors. This is also a second reading. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Hookrattle, second by Dr. Walter, to approve the items in the new business other section. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Dr. Walter.
Yes.
Ms. Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle.
Yes.
We have a few first readings for board policies. We have EFG/EFG-R. This is the wellness policy recommendations, first reading. Moving to page 22. B, new policy number to be determined, athletic department facility use, first reading. We have C, new policy number to be determined is the cell phones in school, first reading. Any additional matters? that you come
So-
approval?
So
Or you want
I
clarification?
I made a copy of this athletic, set it aside so you can see it in its context.
Mhm.
And if there's any feedback you want to give on that, it would be appreciated. Are we on the right track, that kind of thing? And again, although policy says 2 readings, we bring it back for second reading, and there's some other thoughts. Of course, we can make revisions at that meeting and come back for third reading. And then the cell phone policies has had a review by the principals. And we made one revision, and we said during the school day, it wasn't specific. It said school grounds. And so we don't want to administer that at athletic events and, after school kind of things, or on the bus. We believe that probably being away from their phones for 7 hours, they'll be pretty busy on the buses going home trying to catch up. So we think during the school day will be good. And the high school and the middle school have lockers. All of them have a locker. And elementary, they turn them off. They'll be able to control that at the elementary pretty well.
Yeah, I guess I don't necessarily disagree with the thing on the bus, but I mean, I still worry that can be an issue for, some of these filming, these encounters, these fights and stuff like that, that happen. I don't know, but do we want to say that, yeah, like you said, it's gonna be hard to monitor that on the bus too, so, yeah. Yeah.
We can make a rule, but
I'm sorry, Will. So I apologize. I was still looking at the athletic thing. I'll get back to that. So, okay, full transparency. Okay, I want to focus in on the cell phone thing, right? So, go ahead. Now you got my full attention on cell phone. So I apologize as you both were talking.
Well, Mike said that we probably wouldn't do anything on the bus, which I don't necessarily disagree with that. I guess the only concern I would have about buses, which is these kids, some of the kids filming these things for the fights and stuff like that. Is that gonna be, since they're not gonna be allowed in school, is this gonna put more on the bus?
But how many videos of our kids fighting on the buses have we had?
Not, yeah.
None that have been bubbled up to the point where we've heard things that have, so I don't know that, luckily we live in a district, I don't believe that that's an issue we need to
Yeah, and plus,
tackle.
we don't want our bus drivers, their main focus is to operate that bus safely. If we're turning them into cell phone police and
Well, that's what I
everything.
think. It's hard to do it. It's just something that I hope doesn't become an issue, but yeah.
Yeah, I believe we would address that at a point in time in which it became something that was egregious and occurring time and time again, but yeah. So, my commentary, and policy it's in its first reading, the policy will be what it'll be. I know that this is a thing that folks are putting in. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm just gonna, if I don't express it here, I've expressed it. I don't believe we need a cell phone policy. I don't believe that we abuse it. I know that there are moments in time where it's actually important for me to get a hold of my both daughters who have come through this school district. I don't believe, I've never had a teacher reach out to me and said, your kid's abusing their phone, this is becoming an issue. We need to, I've never had a teacher even come up to me and say, kids are abusing their phones, they're on them all the time, I can't believe this. That's why we have teachers, right? That's why we have administrators. So us creating a policy, to me, feels like we are kind of taking it out of the hands of the teachers. And maybe that's what they want. Maybe they want a policy so that they don't have to deal with this. Maybe it's bigger than what I'm used to seeing, but just my general feelings around a cell phone policy is one in which it's not been an issue. And we're going to create a policy around something that's not an issue. We need a policy around this athletic stuff. There's no doubt about it.
Well,
People are complaining all the time.
I don't-
This one, I'm not so sure we need a policy.
Well, the
That-
well, it's state law, number one. So that's kind of, that's one thing. Two, I know, I agree with your point maybe about some of the, but I wouldn't say it's not been an issue. We've had a lot of social media stuff that bleeds over into school, because of phone comments and this stuff. So I wouldn't say that it's not an issue.
The issues we've run across are people taking the pictures at home, posting them to social media, and then folks telling the school to get involved because it's too young students that are at
But it
Liberty.
bleeds over into the school.
But we're not stopping that. That's still gonna happen at home, and that's still gonna bleed into the school, because those are the pictures that
But
happen
if
at
they
home.
can't,
that
do
they-
it, we've had some that were, stuff was going on during school, remember? Because we had stuff that was being commented out
We had
during school.
Again, this is just what I'll say. We had one. We had a kid last year take video of standing outside of the school at the high school, right, and saying people won't let me in, and it caused a big ruckus on Facebook. That was the one.
No, there was something before that too. We had one with the parent.
Okay, 15 years we've had two. Again, and listen, I will support however the district wants to proceed. I'm just saying, I'm of the opinion, like, I'm a big Google 80/20 guy, right? And like, we're creating a policy for the two times this has happened in my 15 years on this board. We have teachers, we have administrators. That's what they get paid to do. That's just, it's an opinion. And I get it, state, whatever the state law, okay, are they really coming in tomorrow?
The policy that's before you is a sample policy coming out of the governor's office.
Mm-hmm.
And the words we changed were on school grounds to school day. So you can imagine what this would be if it were defined as school grounds, because technically buses are an extension of school grounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big change. We believe it'll hold up.
Am I okay to ask to hear from our principals?
Sure.
I would like to hear from the full, well, yeah, you probably, Mr. Harris probably has a student or two that does show up in fourth grade with a cell phone, but
Roughly, they have to put them in their bag like the policy says. It's very rare that we use them, because they'll have Chromebook access, so chances they already have a way to make connections that way, so we've always put them in their book bag, and we really haven't had much issue. Maybe once or twice a kid will have one. Obviously, there's outliers, kids that have diabetics or things of that nature, but yeah, we typically do not have an issue in that sense. Pretty much what it says in that policy, basically.
Mr. Turner?
We started last year, they had to have them in their lockers turned off, went to tardy bell. They come off the bus, on the bus they play games. Middle school kids love playing games on their phone, they compare, they challenge each other. Kind of helps entertain them on the bus. When they come in off the bus, they're allowed to sit in the cafeteria at the gym waiting on a tardy bell, and they can have their phone up to that point. To be honest with you, we didn't get a lot of kickback, did we? But it did stop kids using phones. You said, no, I never got to you guys. We had some kids climb over a stall and took a picture, and another kid install, posted out there, another kid taking another one of the kids going to the urinal and that kind of stuff. And
There's a video of the fight in my room this year.
yeah. And so we cut that down. Did they miss them at first? Yeah. Some of them had withdrawal syndromes, But then it got to be, it was okay. So to be honest with you, we've already started in the offering deal. And
So you did this, you both have done this without a policy.
it was in our student handbook.
Right, without a board policy.
Yeah. Because we also had to have them turned off because they were connecting their phone to their headphones or their,
Mhm.
get earbuds in, they can listen to music instead of the teacher. Especially girls that had long hair, you didn't even know they had earbuds in. And then they had the phone in their locker, not turned off, that they could connect to them.
That their iWatches
Yeah.
can connect to and control their iPhone through their iWatch,
Mhm.
even though it's sitting there, so.
Yeah, we still deal with some things, but to tell you the truth, it has cut down some of the drama in the middle school drastically.
And I've served in both buildings. I think that, you know, looking at what was happening when I was at the high school to what we did this year at the middle school, I think that it's not all kids, you're right. The kids that are there to learn, to do what they're supposed to do all the time and are really good kids, they're taking full advantage of the educational services they're getting. Some of the kids, they're escaped, they sit in the back of the classroom, and they try to hide on the phone. And then you have kids, and then you're gonna have to administer that, like, it's a challenge, especially at the high school level, I think. That you're constantly trying to monitor, and then you have kids on a phone constantly. I talked to a couple kids while I was there, as the principal there, you know, one was like, yeah, I've watched like 5 seasons of blah, blah, blah at school. And it's like, okay, we're not learning if we're watching seasons of things. So my personal opinion is that it does take away from learning. That's my biggest thing, it takes away from learning for a lot of kids. It's that the good kids, not saying that we don't have all good kids, but like the kids that are really driven to be successful academically, that's not on their mind. They're driving their own academics. This just takes away something that could maybe change that focus for some.
Me too.
I think it was driven.
But I want, sorry, I want to.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We have some issues with the phones. I wouldn't say it falls in the, like, it's not the biggest category of issues, but we, you know, being at the high school, some of those issues become a little more severe, and then when you add social media, there's certainly that element. I noticed in what the state put out, they were talking about increased diagnoses of anxiety and depression with this increased use. So I think the fact that, I think a perk of this is gonna be that it's streamed a policy for every school, which we're required to do whether we individually like it or not. A policy for the school is gonna streamline things across the state and across all the schools in the county. So if kids are going like from one school to another, if that expectation is consistent at every grade band, in every building, in, you know, at each district, I do think it will help send the message that we're not gonna be on our phones at school, and we're gonna try to refocus back on the priority of academics instead of allowing this to be a distraction. It's not going to be easy, I don't think, and we're certainly gonna have our individual opinions about it along the way. But I think having the policy is gonna help with that too, because now it's not up to my teacher neighbor, oh, this teacher lets me and this teacher doesn't. I think it removes all of that. It's like, hey, the state's making us do it. So we can, I think it'll be easier to enforce for everyone.
I appreciate your feedback.
Are the students allowed to have the phones lunch in between classes?
Not the middle school.
Not the middle school, high school?
Well, the way the policy is gonna be written, no. I know that there are some schools of thought that they think, oh, that's downtime or whatever, but sometimes that's your most troubled areas. It's downtime at lunch, hallway passing. So I think the point of the policy is gonna be during the instructional day, whether you're at lunch or class changes, they're not gonna have their phones. And again, I think it's gonna be a challenge, but I think that's what the policy, the template and the suggested policy from the state says should be done. Well, I think it was broader. I think we are into instructional day.
I'm sorry, Sean.
No, go ahead.
How do we differentiate or deal with, like, you know, there's an emergency at home, or grandpa's dying in the hospital, or whatever? How are we gonna handle those type situations?
Well, before we had cell phones, you always called the school office. And there are so many people in the office that are accessible for pretty immediate support.
So I don't see that as any different. I think we're used to having direct lines of communication with our kids, myself included, because I have a high schooler as well, direct lines of communication, but we might default back to the way we used to, and then it's call the office, and I have an emergency, I need my kid right now, and it will get done.
I think that'll be, sorry, but that was actually gonna be partly my question, right? I think that's gonna be the thing that we're gonna have to make sure we have that we have the proper, support staff in place to handle that. I don't know that, Denise is ready to handle the amount of calls that are now going to come in.
I think it's going to be okay. I'm sure like with everything else, there's going to be that transition period that's going to be pretty rough. And, we'll have to do our things in-house to make sure that we're consistent in following that policy as well. But I think the manpower is there. I think we might see that parents don't need a direct line to their kids as urgently as they thought. Maybe you don't need the Starbucks order right now and it can, there are some things that are laughable, but sometimes we think those things are important, but they're not urgent.
I just, here's what I'll say around, the other thing is spring sports, right? You're weather watching the entire time. So Denise is gonna have to be there for these spring sport coaches to be able to contact her on a dime to say, practice is inside today, or, all of those things that happen day in and day out via spring sports. Because the way it's been done to date is we have the Remind app, we communicate to the kids earlier in the day, and then, again, sometimes twice in a day, letting them know what the game plan is because we've got weather in the area for a practice or a game.
So we deal with that at the middle school, because our kids don't use it this year, and it's not been an issue. That's the athletic director will call us, will call us and say, hey, this has been moved, or coaches will call in and say, hey, this needs to be taken care of earlier in the day. Let's make one phone call to us, and then we announce it. And when we announce it, if it's before lunch, we announce it at lunch and after school. And then that way, if kids need to come in and make arrangements for pickup or whatever at the middle school, we get a lot of that compared to the high school where some of them drive or catch rides. It's never been an issue this year. And to add something to that with the lunches, we say, like having that lunch is what we've noticed at the middle school is kids are talking to each other. They're not zoned out. They're talking to each other, they're becoming a little closer and stuff like that. So to us, it was kind of a pro to us that kids were that typically sit by themselves, lonesome, are now finding friends and talking to each other and finding groups and things like that. So there's a lot of perks to it too. And I get your concerns as a parent. I don't have kids that age yet to worry about that, but
Parent, coach, and just generally the way I like to treat people. Like, I do it a lot with my team. Like, I treat them like adults. If they're late, they just have to communicate with me that they're going to be late, right? Like, you don't, if you're late, he doesn't make you run laps, does he?
Yeah.
No, I know he doesn't, right? So there's just those types of things where, like, I feel like, as an adult, I'm able to utilize my phone, and I treat 14-year-olds for whatever reason like adults, and it's worked. So that's probably my big, like, honestly, that is Sean's biggest internal thing, is that this is the way I would want to be treated. This is the way I'm treated professionally, and I'm taking something away that's like, it's not what I have to do. So this, to me, it's just one of those things that listen, I've said it, I'll say it again, I will support this board. This is not like I'm going to be out here on a limb, like I can't believe this. It's just personally trying to talk it through and listening to you folks speak as well, so that I can personally process this thing, because I'm just not a fan of it at all.
Sean, one of the things I have to remind myself of is that, because I think we all probably have some personal opinions on that outside of our professional roles. But one of the things I keep coming back to in my mind is it's not an option because the state says we have to do it. So to be in compliance, I feel like, shoot, okay, we have to do this. And how are we going to make it work the best for everybody, being mindful of, in our high school, we've got 18-year-olds in there. It does feel really weird to tell them. I totally get that, but the state says.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate what you're saying, but something Amanda said, and I do agree, is a lot of the anxiety that that is going on now. Some of that can be linked to like this instant, and it's like well, I gotta check this, gotta check, there's that sense of, if I'm not checking this, I'm behind, you know, and if we kind of give them that break from that during the day, I think that's where some of this is. So some of it is, I think, a mental health thing too. But I know what you're saying, and like I said, you want to treat kids with respect, give them the respect so they can demonstrate that they can live with it. But I think there is something, you know, that we also need to look out for their mental health too.
I just appreciate the willingness to give your opinions and thoughts as we work through this.
Thank you, everyone, for your input.
Yeah, the athletic one, do we want to go back to that now?
Yeah.
So, you know, can someone tell me what, I'm looking at the designated storage areas, can someone tell me what LR storage is?
That's what I was gonna ask that too, yeah.
What page on?
Where it says uniform, football, it'd be on page 24. It says.
Third page on your handout.
Third page.
Says off-season equipment, gym storage,
That's
LR
locker
storage.
room, I think.
Is it locker room?
I think it is.
Is it?
I think it is.
Okay.
What else could it be?
Well, I see all these auditorium basement things, and I was told that the reason that football moved out of the auditorium basement was because it got wet down there. And if we're keeping football out of the basement, trying to understand why we're not keeping everybody out of the basement. Or if the basement's good enough for everybody else, I'm not really sure why it wasn't good enough for football. So I think that's one that I want to understand what LR storage means and where things are being kept.
It looks like boys and girls basketball is the same thing too. That's what I was. It's not designated. It's
Yeah,
not designated LR.
here's what I know.
Yeah.
In the new field, or not in the new, in the red field house, we've got a ton of football equipment in
Right.
there that took over areas that other
And
sports
that's
were
what we're trying to
utilizing.
move. That's what needs to be moved
And I'm
out.
just trying to be
Yeah.
understanding where's this stuff going? What's LR storage mean?
Because everywhere else it does say locker.
Like boys and girls basketball says locker room storage.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I don't know if that's a type. If that's just if it's supposed to be. Yeah, I agree. It should that. Is that supposed to be locker room? Yeah.
So I've got a good idea where it is. Right?
I mean, I know where all the equipment is.
No, but I'm talking about this locker room storage where it is in the new building. Upper floor.
Is it?
Uh-huh. And
Okay.
there's office with the infamous window. And right
The
next,
infamous window, see?
and the one right next to it there is a storage area.
Okay,
I think that's what that is.
okay. All right. And then we've got, in the new field house girls locker room, it's interesting that we've got softball and track in there at the same time. But then like the varsity girls locker room in the high school, we don't have any spring sports there. So I'd be curious if there would be, if
What do you got there, Sean?
sorry, same page, page 24, it's the table above where it says new field house, it's like the 1, 2, 3, third and fourth ones down. New field house boys locker room,
Oh, okay.
just football and baseball, those are the only two sports sharing that. And then the field house girls locker room has cross country, wrestling, softball, and girls track. But we don't have anything in the spring in the varsity girls locker room, which would be in the high school. So I'd be curious if there would be a decision to either allow the girls track team or that softball team to utilize the girls locker room that's in the high school gym or adjacent to the high school gym. Is how many, does anybody know how many girls track folks we have?
How many girls went out for track?
Yeah, roughly 20 to 30. It's probably a decent guess, right? And you've got another 20 to 30, right? So you're throwing 50 kids together. You got a baseball team above that's only going to have 20 kids. Just trying to understand if we've got space, why we wouldn't utilize space with that varsity girls locker room in the gym, adjacent to the gym. Same with the varsity boys locker room, like it's only boys basketball. You know, is there a reason why another, I don't know where the boys track team changes and does all their stuff today.
Hey, George.
The Patty George building, okay. And they're comfortable with that? No, yeah, don't speak on. Yeah, Coach A does a really good job of speaking for herself, so.
Yeah,
We're good.
no, you're right, because it doesn't have anything specified besides wrestling there in the field house.
Right, right. So here's what I'd say, right? We're looking at a policy here. The way this policy feels written is like, this is what we've done. To me, and we've never had a policy around this. So to me, if we're looking at a policy, we should be looking at ways, like, let's not just do the status quo, like this is what we've always done. Like, let's take a moment to look at this and say, what does make the most sense? Should we allow opportunities for some other sport to be in that varsity boys locker room? Because at this point, it's just a basketball locker room.
Yeah, that's.
And I don't have an answer, right? I'm just saying, to maximize our opportunities to, you know, I mean, it's a
Yeah.
nice locker room.
Yeah, it shouldn't be just.
Boys basketball.
Right. We should give the opportunity for the teams that are in their season to be able to utilize our facilities.
Yeah, but I can kind of understand why track maybe would want to, because they're already up.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a feasibility.
I get
maybe
it,
of
yeah.
Proximity. thing,
Yeah, but then you maybe you get you have a conversation with the track coach and the softball coach or whatever around, would one of you be interested in being in the high school gym?
Locker room,
In the high school gym locker room in the spring?
talking about use of facilities more than storage at this point.
Correct, yeah.
So do we know if Janet has gotten this policy to our athletic coaches for all teams to review
I
this?
don't know that.
Okay.
That's what, yeah.
So I think
I
that's
can tell you,
probably-
I haven't, I mean, as a coach,
And
I haven't.
have-
I would like, yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I'd like
that's,
to-
everybody, all the coaches to give their input. Yeah, I think that's, you know, because like I said, that might answer some of the questions you have about what, is it a feasibility or is it a proximity thing?
Great.
Any other comments? Again, those are first readings, so.
Right.
I thought she did a good job in defining it, moving it through. I think really the detail is in some of the use and storage facilities that we're talking about, and we saw the issue and discussion about what's in the basement. I went down there, and it's not a bad place to be. It doesn't smell bad. It looks like it's dry. But I guess if there were a flood, it would be a problem.
I believe it would be a problem for all sports, not just football.
Right.
That would be my comment. Right.
Any other items? Anything coming for the board?
I no.
I have one. I would like for us to review our policy around tips when we use the credit card. I believe the policy is written such that we can max out at 18% for tips. I would like us to potentially look at that, bump it up to, we could say whatever, whether it's 21% or whatever, but I believe, 18% in today's is, some people are very, very generous with tips. Some people are not, right? There's the whole gamut, but I believe if you do believe that you want to recognize a server for what they did, 18% seems like almost like you kind of got to make up the extra 2% if you think 20% is the standard. So I would just like us to take a look at that. I don't know what the policy number is, April, but if we could look at that policy and see if we couldn't potentially bump that up to 20%, that would be my recommendation if we were to look at it, unless there's some state guideline or whatever that says 18 is the max. Probably just stated and doesn't get used very often, but.
Yeah, customary was 15 once upon a time.
Exactly. That's all I had.
Do you have anything in particular you would I mean, with 20% more, or what are you thinking?
Well, if 15% was customary and we had it at 18, probably to award outstanding service if it ever happened, I would recommend that we put it at 23%, just to be 3% above what, that would be my recommendation, but again, if there's state guidelines, whatever,
We'll take that feedback and explore it.
yeah, take a look and see. Nothing that needs changed, obviously, overnight, but something worth looking at from a policy standpoint.
Okay.
Thank you.
Executive session is requested by the superintendent.
Want to discuss personnel. Checklist is.
Is that E?
Let's see, A4.
E.
Let's see, A7. And items that need to be kept confidential.
E.
That's E.
Do I have a motion to go into executive session for A4 and 7 and E?
So, second.
I have a motion by Mr. Moore, second by Dr. Walter, to go into executive session at 8:14 PM. Ms. Boyer?
Dr. Walter,
Yes.
Ms. Cato,
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle,
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
We are in